This is episode 928. We are live on Spreaker, iHeartRadio, and Spotify, and we're joined by a really special guest. He's a former NFL wide receiver. He played for Kentucky for college. His name is Stevie Johnson. He played for the Buffalo Bills, San Francisco 49ers, San Diego Chargers, now the Los Angeles Chargers. But now after his NFL career, he does a great thing for the community. He runs a Exposure Academy football camp for these young athletes. Really looking forward to getting to know that more about that. But first, we're going to talk about his career. Obviously, a great career, over 381 reception yards, 4,000 catching yards, over 40 touchdown receptions. Man, this guy had a heck of a career. Stevie Johnson, I just want to say thank you for joining the show. Glad to connect with you and learn more about your story. And how are you and your family doing today?
Definitely, man. Thanks for the intro, man. It was just thinking back on it, but in between that intro, man, it was a blast. It was a lot, ups and downs. It's all appreciated, and that'll all tie into the Exposure Academy. So thanks for that, man. The fans doing well.
Yeah. So I want to start off with your childhood growing up. Obviously, you grew up in California, San Francisco, California. So what was it like growing up as a kid there? And when did you get interested in the game of football? And who did you look up to as a role model?
Yeah. So growing up in San Francisco, it was great. It was it was beautiful because where we were in the Hunters Point Hills, Bayview, Hunters Point, it overlooked the whole Bay Area. You can see Oakland on the other side of the water. You can see the Golden Gate Bridge. You can see the Bay Bridge. The Giants was right there in Double Rock. Is another project area. But at the same time, it showed us a lot of tough and real life situations, such as like deaths. You know what I'm saying? I seen people getting killed. I seen friends being killed. So it kind of developed my mind in a way where, you gotta kind of grow up fast and understand like life isn't about games and playing around all the time. So it gave me a lot. So I appreciate growing up in San Francisco. And then as far as the sports coming around, that was what got us, out of the streets, basically from doing nonsense, basically, so, we'd always line up on the block, you feel me, two-hand touch or street tackle. And, that's where you develop your skills at, but you don't know you working on skills for later on. At the time, I definitely didn't think of it. We didn't see professional players where we was from, so we was just out there playing to play. And then, the people on the blocks, they was just like supporting us, hey, you pretty good, man, keep going, this and that, so that's how it initially, the love began.
And who would you say that you looked up to as a role model?
Oh yeah. So I didn't really get into football too much until I seen Terrell Owens. Yeah. I seen Terrell Owens at Candlestick, and he was doing the bankhead bounce. He was dancing, like he was having fun, So that's when I really got into football. I always noticed like the Buffalo Bills team. It was strange. Like I noticed them, Don Beebe, Thurman Thomas, Andre Reed, and Kelly. Like those was the guys that I kind of noticed, but I didn't really pay attention to football at the time. But that was just something strange how I came back. I ended up getting drafted by the Buffalo Bills. So awesome. I had some familiar thoughts about that squad in that city. But I didn't get into it until Terrell Owens was coming up with the 49ers, man.
And you got to wear the same jersey as him too.
Yeah, man, that was pretty cool, man, being able to play back at home. And then another player was Deion Sanders. I seen how he made it look cool to be an athlete, you know what I'm saying? Going to school, handling his business, getting straight to it, but he was fly with it, you know what I'm saying? He showed his entertaining skills on the field, off the field. And it was the same with T.O., and that kind of developed me into that. We somewhat entertainers, you know what I mean?
Yep. Yeah. So for you, I want to ask you about your obviously in this generation, coaches love to play players in multiple positions. And for you, before choosing wide receiver throughout your career, did you get to play? Did you get to learn how to play different positions, or was it mainly wide receiver for you?
Yeah, no. It wasn't wide receiver until I went to college, basically. So throughout my career, it was basically playing running back. Just get him the ball and then let him do what he do. Or I played quarterback. or I was just on defense. You know what I'm saying? And that was pretty much how that went. I didn't really get into the receiver position until I went to junior college. And in junior college, I ran into a coach, Coach Jack out in Oakland, California. But the college I went to was Chabot. And, from there, that's where I got, and Brett Heckenberg, also RIP to coach. He's one that showed me the game, or introduced me to the receiver position at junior college. And that's when it just took off from there as I was learning different positions. I mean, different like situations from that wide receiver position, which ultimately helped me become a better creator of space.
So heading into your last year of high school, obviously that's when all the scholarships come in and all the college offers, and senior year is really important for these athletes. And for you, what did you work on to improve as a player before heading into college senior year in high school?
Yeah, my main thing would be just getting on the field with however many of your friends you can, and then just continue going through situations. That's the main thing. Like they always say, oh, the playbook is gonna be super thick and this and that, and what all the work you blah blah, like whatever. We all go figure out the playbook if we want to play. You know what I mean? But there's a difference between knowing the playbook and then being comfortable and uncomfortable positioning was to get players or myself on the field and going through things, whether it's slow or fast, you know what I mean? And the more familiar I am in situations, the more easier it'll be to adjust when they randomly happen in the games. So that's something big I would give to guys coming from high school to college, and even from college to the NFL, just situations.
Yeah, and obviously, and throughout your NFL career, I remember you always brought you brought that electric to the team, and obviously you're a fast receiver and you're dynamic receiver. And for you in high school, did you get to like punt return, kick return also?
Yeah, man, I did it all. Man, it was one of them situations where like, hey, just put the ball in Stevie hands, basically. And I was fortunate enough to not ever really have many bad things happen to me on my football journey early. You know what I mean? And I can say, that kind of goes in like good and bad, because then when I never experienced nothing bad really, and ultimately later on in my career, I got to experience my one bad thing, and it kind of blew over. And as I thought about it, it was like, dang, this was really the first time this ever happened to me. And I just got to be smarter about it. You know what I mean? But I wish it would have happened to me earlier. And that's what I provide for kids now. Understand, like, when things happen, or if something happened, you learn from it, because later on, when it go really matter, not now. You know what I'm saying? You just developing right now, So it's just, I take everything in that I learned on and off, good and bad, and I put it into the business, this Exposure Academy.
Yeah, so now obviously tell our fans about your college recruitment process. Obviously, you went to Kentucky. How many other offers did you get before choosing Kentucky, and what made you choose Kentucky? And Kentucky is it's an amazing football team, amazing program, and they're growing in a big way. But for you, what was that like, the recruitment process for you, and what made you choose Kentucky?
Okay, so from the beginning, so from high school, I was we was at a brand new high school, and I ended up graduating. However, I wasn't in the something with the books or inside the classes or something to the qualifier. I wasn't a qualifier though. So I ended up having to go to junior college. Out of high school, I only had Wyoming. Wyoming was my only scholarship offer, and I was gonna go there, and that was my first time playing wide receiver under Javon Bownight, and Malcolm Floyd was there at the time. But that fell through, and I ended up going to junior college at Chabot and with Danny Calcagno, and he saw something in me and let me play my first year in junior college, and then in my second year after that, after those 2 years, I was All-American, and then that's when all of the colleges came in. So it was after junior college was when, all the letters came. What made Kentucky stand out? It was interesting because as a kid, I ended up seeing, well, not super young, but teenager, I seen Tayshaun Prince, playing on TV, and he was lefty, light-skinned dude. and he was like 6'8" or something, but he was like using that floater. And at the time I was learning how to do the floater shot, and it was just so random. Now I seen this blue crowd, it's blue and white. It just looked live. Like, what is this play? Kentucky? And then just a few years later, they ended up sending a letter, and it was, that blue. And I'm like, oh yeah, I'm definitely opening this. And so then Coach Carragher came out at the time. And I was just hooked from there. You know what I'm saying? Like, just from the past, seeing a guy and Tayshaun Prince from California being in Kentucky, having it live how it was on TV. I wanted to do that too, being from California, and then the blue just looked nice. And then when he came, I was like, all right, I'll take my visit there. And once I took that one visit with Wesley Woodyard, he was my host, and Marcus McClinton, Dickie Lyons, and Keenan Burton, and Andre Woodson. And then I got cool with him and Raphael Little and Demario Ford, and like we all just said, look, we bring all these guys together, and we can be the first to start this bowl thing, and that's what ultimately happened.
Wow. Yeah. So speaking of Kentucky, and obviously, what was it like getting recruited by Wesley Woodyard, a great football defensive player in the league that had a great NFL career, just like you? And what was it like playing with him in Kentucky?
Yeah, it was great because it's like everything fell into place. He had that vibe. It wasn't I'm too cool. I'm too cool to be. Some people have a different vibe. You know what I mean? You can even see it in kids in high school these days, or in junior college where I go scouting kids. And some of them be having talent, but they be just too cool. Like, oh, I'm not gonna go too hard today, or I'm gonna make it look super. Man, I need you to go hard, man. I need to see the sweat. I need you to be tired after this game. So you know what I mean? More things can happen. And that was just something that that we had to breed, out here, and that's what we're trying to do with our Exposure Academy. So, man, yeah, dude, it's just like the scouting part. It can be easy. It can be kind of difficult because you can see guys with 4.3 speed, but they just don't give it all. You know what I mean? They just look good in shorts. So it's kind of tricky. We just put people through a lot of situations.
Yeah. So tell our fans about the fan base in Kentucky. What was it like playing in front of them, and the college atmosphere there? And obviously the basketball team always compete. You got your basketball and Kentucky Wildcats, and obviously the football team is coming up now. So just describe the fans and playing in front of them in the college atmosphere there.
Yeah, they love it. It's the same as like having a professional team there. They don't have a professional squad. So if you could just imagine the love that fans have for their pro teams, is spot on in Kentucky. Everything's jamming, and that's whether things are up or down. You know what I'm saying? They're still there supporting, in a sense, but now it's just a whole nother level. We got our basketball team is nice, and our football team is fire, and the world love football out here. So it's a win-win for us now, and I'm glad that we was to say we was the first to really get that going and get people aware of Kentucky football.
Yeah. And what would you say your best moment or best experience that you had in Kentucky?
Definitely the game winners. Those were great. I feel like it all was manifested though. I don't want to just give you like the basic answers, like, yeah, obviously LSU and beating Louisville was great, but the whole build up to it, like the first year, I didn't even play a lot. You know what I mean? I was just practicing hard and I was on the field, but my guy, Dickie Lyons, he was making the big plays. Like it's strange. Against Louisville the year before, my first year there, Dickie had 2 touchdowns, 1 long, 1 deep, but we got blew out though. And just throughout that season, I was seeing how he was moving, and I was like, man, I just need those type of games in those type of games against those players. I mean, those teams. And so fast forward a year later, we play against Louisville, and I end up having the same type of touchdown, type of game that he had, except at the end of my touchdowns, it was game winners. You know what I mean? I had a long one and a short one, and he had the same thing. So it was kind of manifested. I just kept thinking that throughout that whole off season, and making big plays and having his type of season. And that's just real talk. You know what I mean? That's some thoughts that athletes got to have. Learn from other people. and manifested. It all happened.
Yeah. So now tell about your draft experience. Obviously, you got drafted in '08, round 7, pick 224 with the Buffalo Bills. And what was it like? What was your combine process like? And did you get invited to the green room?
No, I didn't get invited to the green room, but the whole process was pretty cool. Just understanding that I wasn't really interested in football like that. You know what I'm saying? But to be able to be invited to, workout sessions in Southern California, being housed and, fed and all that stuff. And, going out to the combine, actually being invited to that. It's like, man, you see all this stuff on TV and you don't see no professional athletes in my area. You know what I'm saying? You only see people that could have been good, you know what I'm saying? Or only good in the community, but you didn't really see nobody walking around like that. So it was just, as I was leveling up, it was like, okay, new thing. I got to learn something this and how am I go? You know what I mean? I was just going with the flow, but looking back and answering these questions, it's like, man, it was really a blessing being able to go through these moments and being in Indianapolis, rooming with my roommate was Paul Hubbard at the time.
Oh wow!
And, he was I believe Wisconsin receiver, and we ended up playing on the same team later on in our careers. You know what I'm saying? I think he got picked in round 5 or 4 or maybe 3. I'm not even sure, but he ended up playing on the same team as I was later on in Buffalo, which was cool, and being able to meet all those people. So it's like it's a pretty good experience, man.
Yeah,
so I was experienced that recruiting thing. It wasn't my bad. It wasn't like a nerve-wracking thing.
Yeah.
I thought the only thing I was upset about, I thought I was gonna go 4th round.
Right.
But I ended up going in the 7th. So, but at the time, as the 4th round was going by, in the 5th, our Kentucky guys was getting picked. Mm-hmm. Keenan got picked. Andre, Jacob, Tammy ended up getting picked. So it was like, dang, we actually did what we said we was gonna do. So it was no really sad times. We was just like, it's only a matter of time. And then as 7th round came by, I got the call. And even after that, I believe Wesley I think he played longer than all of us, and he didn't even get drafted. So shout out, y'all got to stay going even if y'all don't get drafted. You feel me? So yeah, man, that was a cool experience.
Yeah, and just the experience of draft with your family and making your family proud and getting to your goal. What was that feeling like once you got your name called and your family relieved and you're relieved and now you can just focus on football, getting to camp?
Yeah, it was cool. It was a cool, surreal moment because you feel like, man, you accomplished a lot. But at that same time, the reality is you got picked in the 7th round. So while everybody's smiling and happy, you got picked in the 7th round and you still got to make the team. Yeah. So you don't get that $1 million just yet. You know what I'm saying? You don't get that. Your signing bonus the signing bonus is like thousands of dollars at the time, and yeah, so it was like you still got to know in the back of your mind, I got to work. I can't. That's why I love that. I had the attitude with guys now, like you can't be too cool. Even when you accomplish something, you still got to go in at warrior mentality. You feel me? And I think that's what kind of propelled me and helped me, go make it on the team that first year.
Yeah, so obviously now heading into Bills camp as a rookie, and you got to play with awesome players. You got to play with Beast Mode, Marshawn Lynch, Trent Edwards. You got to play with Lee Evans, and you got to learn from Josh Reed, Lee Evans. You can go down the list. And what was it like playing as a rookie, playing in Buffalo, and learning from those players and then the rest of the roster?
Yeah, man. Oh, that's a great question. So it was first off, it was great because when I went to Buffalo Bills, remember we spoke on that earlier. And then at the time we obviously had Marshawn Lynch, who was a Bay Area legend, whether he was on a professional field or not. So being able to be there with him was pretty cool. And then seeing how Lee Evans, first round pick guys, Roscoe Parrish, we already seen him at Miami, being able to play with them. And then Josh Reed, who was what they call a Biletnikoff Award winner. And then Trent Edwards from the Bay Area. He also was pretty good at basketball. And like my boy had friends that knew of Trent Edwards from hoop, you know what I mean? in his time in high school back in California. So it was kind of tight being in that environment. We had other veterans like Robert Royal, who I give shout out. Yep. Yeah, he was a good vet, and he the one that told us how to, Andre Davis. Both of them, they helped with, life insurance. You know what I'm saying? Getting your family set up straight. Don't worry about buying the extras on the material things, especially right now. You know what I mean? Let's go out into second contract or third contract, and then understand you ain't got to impress nobody. You feel me? So those were some good people to be around. And even though I didn't play that much, I just soaked a lot of game in and was just waiting for my time as I was working hard on the practice field.
And I didn't realize you guys had Jason Peters on your offensive line, because this guy is unbelievable. He's still playing in the league with the Chicago Bears, and he's like the Tom Brady of the offensive line player. Like, what do you think of him as a player? What was it like being his teammate and seeing him go about his business throughout his career?
See, the thing with Jason was that year we came in, I think he left. He was only there for maybe, I can't even remember, you know what I'm saying? Maybe a half a year, if I can't even say a whole year, but I could just remember seeing him a little bit, you know what I mean? He was, and I feel like they was in some contract disputes, because as I think back on it, he was kind of, it's a different vibe when they talking contract and teams, saying what they say, but basically not really believing in you as much. So he was, I think, ready to move, get out of there, so I don't get to really experience a lot of conversations with Jason Peters, but I knew he was a gifted athlete, because they was telling me he was a tight end, and then now he was anchoring the line, and he was, from what I seen, he was a pro about it. He didn't force nothing, which I think a lot of a good thing for people to hear too is, he wasn't forcing himself really through injuries. And I didn't understand that at the time. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's why he's able to preserve himself and still be playing right now, because, he understands his body and he understands the business. And, that's an advantage that I kind of wish I would have had, as a player.
Yeah, and now you got to tell our fans about Bills Mafia, the fan base there in Buffalo. And I feel like the Buffalo Bills, they don't get talked enough. And obviously they're a dangerous team now. They got Stephon Diggs. But for you, when you were playing there, what was it like playing in front of Bills Mafia, that fan base, Buffalo, New York? What was that like for you?
Man, it was great. It was great, dude. Like that, it is crazy, because like people about to experience how that energy is now, with our team being as good as we are, one game away from being in the bowl.
Yeah.
They can really see what we always seen, even when we weren't at the top of our game. You know what I'm saying? Like that fan base is wild. You see what they do in the parking lot. It's a whole experience, I would just say. We may have to do some type of show where we experience that tailgate, you know what I'm saying? And it's pretty cool. It's a community, it's a real family out there, you know what I'm saying? And I'm glad to be the type of person that I was, the one that wanted to connect the fans with the players, you know what I'm saying? Because like I said, I never seen pros in my area, you know what I'm saying, coming back to the hood or having camps, just being visible, you know what I'm saying, to those kids. So I was always out there, everywhere and trying to connect. But you do certain things and the fans accept it, you know what I mean? And if they don't, they don't. But the Bills, they ride with you through it all. And I give props to them.
Yeah, take us back to your first NFL game, NFL start, and how nervous were you, or what was that like when you stepped on the field for the first time in your career and wearing the blue, red, white jersey? The white helmet and the blue, red jersey.
Yeah, it was cool. I was up all night stepping on the field. It was cool. You don't really, I guess you don't expect to be as prepared as you are when you see all the cameras, all the people. It's just something that gets in you, like, man, I'm ready to go. Let's go to war. So that took over during that time. But the build up to it, it was, man, I was up all night in the hotel just thinking what's going to happen. It's going to be my first time. Blah, blah, blah. It was strange to me because I never think like this, But now, it's NFL, blah, blah, blah. You start looking a little bit into things. So I hit up Terrell Owens, and text him like man, tomorrow will be the first start basically in this franchise. You know what I'm saying? He was there during my second year.
Oh, okay.
Wasn't playing.
Yeah.
So yeah, I just hit him because I knew he'd been through it multiple times. You know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna go to the top to who's experienced it. And he hit me right back. It was late at night too, and he's just like, man, just remember your fam, man, and you've been putting in the work. You know what you got to do, and that's about it. And I was like, man, yeah, just keep it simple, huh? So, and then after that, I just slept, and then it was gone. Put in 10 years, 8 official.
Yeah, speaking of Terrell Owens, obviously you were teammates with him in your second year in the league, and what was it like learning from him? And obviously the GOAT, one of the best receivers I ever seen play in the league. And for you, what was it like learning from him and getting like advice from him?
It was another great moment, man, and time for me because, like I said, man, I grew up watching him, and for him to be there and really see how they would treat him in the media, and then to see how he is really in the locker room and everything, and it's like the total opposite. Like it's the total opposite. He's the players. He's the guy. He's the guy. And then when it came to like things when it was coaching stuff, I understood what they were saying. But I was looking at it from his perspective, because I would do certain things that I seen him do. Like if a play didn't make sense, we would, hey, coach, why would we run? Let's do this. You know what I'm saying? Instead of just going with it and then letting it just happen, and then we adjust over time. But I understood where he was coming from, though. Because he studied the game. He broke down the defenses and all that. So he's like, why are we putting in this stuff if we don't need it? We just go attack with this. You feel me? But it gets rubbed the wrong way for certain people, and certain coaches and things. And then on the field, he goes after it. It can be as beautiful a day it is in Buffalo, or it can be as cold as, you know what I mean? And he go be out there for one-on-ones, calling you out, hey, lock it up, you know what I'm saying? So I seen that warrior mode, and he was probably 35 at the time. I'm not even sure, but yeah, man, like you just see it. It was great to witness, and it's cool. It was cool. It's cool being a San Francisco kid.
Yeah, so this is a two-part question, and I had a couple Bills on. Also, I had Jeremy Kelly on the show. I had Kristen Gaddis on the show, and also I had Eric Wood on the show. And what was it like being part of Bills history, growing with that team, and obviously looking at them now, a potential Super Bowl contender in the near future? And what's it like being just to grow up with that team? And also, the next part to this question, I want to ask you about Coach Dick Drawn, because this guy is a heck of a coach, and he doesn't get enough respect as a coach.
Man, word up. Okay, man, being a part of that is, I never expected to be. You know what I mean? I never thought I'd be considered the only receiver to have a record so far in that franchise or in any NFL franchise. So it's just an honorable feeling, to be a part of a place so far away from my home. The thing with, what was the second part of it? Oh, with Coach Duran. Coach Duran, he was a great coach. Yeah. I mean, it was just at a time where I feel like people or teams wasn't really stacking our players, you know what I'm saying, how they could have. And because he was like the ultimate players coach, but he just wasn't rah-rah, you know what I'm saying? And people probably would see that as, oh, he's too whatever they want to say. I don't know what they say. But it was just at a different time for him. But he was a really good coach, though, as far as preparing us or teaching us to be prepared, and then, just managing this team, with an even keel that he had.
Yeah, so for you, obviously NFL is a business. A lot of players move to different teams. For you, did you ever think to yourself, maybe I can spend your whole career with one team? And how tough is it leaving the team that drafted you? But you got other opportunities. But how tough is it at first to leave that team who drafted you?
Yeah, that's what you always thought. You can stay on one team, and that's a part of that whole, Jason Peters convo.
Yeah.
He understood when I said he understood the business. He knows he's not going to be on more than likely he's not going to be on the same team. And me, when I got traded to the 49ers, I was like I was not cool about it. You know, I was thinking, man, I'm doing everything I can to change this culture here in Buffalo. Like I'm gonna play through injuries. I'm gonna try to, show that. And then you just traded. Well, like, man, what? So I was upset, really, to be honest. But I was just young and just a football player. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't really thinking business as much, as I should have. But you see things and you learn it, and now you be able to provide that for the future.
And but obviously, but now you get to go back home, and now your family can see you playing in person. So what was that like getting traded and going back home? And you got to play. If you look at this roster, you played with Jim. You played underneath Coach Jim Harbaugh. You played with Colin Kaepernick, Frank Gore, Anquan Boldin, Michael Crabtree. Man, you can go down the list. I love this team, the team you had back in 14. And what was that like, just learning from players like that and the coach like Jim Harbaugh?
Yeah, that was a heck of an experience too, man. That was fun, dude. Like that was wild having we even Patrick Willis, Navarro Bowman.
Yeah, Patrick Willis, Bowman, yeah.
Alden Smith. You know what I'm saying? We had it was crazy seeing that environment because it was totally different from the Buffalo Bills. But it was good and bad though. If I can choose, to be honest, I would have stayed with the Bills. You know what I'm saying? With that kind of locker room, how it was there. But in San Francisco, it was live. It was so much going on. I would say if we had, because Coach Harbaugh was great, but we needed more. It was something. It was something about it. It was something about it. We also had Brandon Lloyd on that team. Yeah. So he led the league in yards or touchdowns one year or so. So we had a good squad over there, but it was some interesting characters. I made some great friends with a couple of them. This Exposure Academy is partly in honor with Crabtree. Me and him used to go to work at practice. We say expose that dude. You know what I'm saying? So we go back and forth with DBs. Wow. And so they'll win some, we win some, and it was just like Exposure Academy out there. And we have fun with it. And, we just go keep developing from here on.
And also, you guys had a great offensive line with Joe Staley, starting with that Alex Boone, Joe, and you keep going down the list. And also, your defense was stacked. Ahmad Brooks, Antoine Bethea, actually, he was on our show last year, Antoine Bethea, and it was an honor to him. And but for you, as an offense and seeing that defense go out there, and this whole team was pretty much complete, in my opinion.
Yeah, that's what I felt also. I felt like the squad was complete. The only thing that I felt that we didn't do, to be honest, man, is like I don't think they put the ball in Cap hands enough and just let him spread out and do what he did in college. It was more, I don't know if it was contract talks or whatnot, and they trying to be perfect, or I don't know, or maybe old coordinator type of things, but it was too much motion here, eye back, and it's great because we got the great Frank Gore also, but it's like you see what we got. We got B. Lloyd, Crab, Anquan, and Vernon Davis. You know what I'm saying? Like, come on, with us underneath, everybody outside, and then we can run it and still have Cap either hand it off to Frank or just toss it. And I think that it was just a little bit maybe too much for that staff, though. In a sense, they wasn't ready for it at that time. Yeah,
and also obviously now you got to learn from Anquan Boldin, and what was like being his teammate, obviously Hall of Famer, future Hall of Famer, and this guy had a great career, legendary career. So what was it like learning from him also?
Yeah, you just see that he's everything that they say. You know what I mean? He hard work. He in there every day at the same time. You know what I mean? Putting in that work. Another guy that I've seen at Florida State, he was doing everything, playing quarterback, returning kicks, and that was in college, you know what I'm saying? And then you see him play. Actually, he beat us. He beat us the year before in the Super Bowl. Yeah. And then so then I ended up getting to play with him. So it's like, dang, you give him respect. So he was a real one. Good dude for sure.
Yeah, speaking of that Super Bowl, obviously it was a tough loss for you guys playing the Baltimore Ravens, but what was that experience like just to be in that Super Bowl game for you?
Well, now see, I was in a sense, I was just a supporter at the time. You know what I'm saying? Of the home team.
Oh, okay.
But being able to see how Jacoby Jones and Anquan Boldin ended up making those plays. I mean, obviously Flacco made that play also, you know, making that pass, and then Boldin making that first down.
Yeah.
Jacoby returning the freaking kick and then making that catch and then juke move, and oh man, it hurt us. But you know, then I ended up getting to play with Jacoby in San Diego, and he was another good dude that I'm glad I got to play with, along with Keenan Allen. So that was cool, you know. And circling back with Malcolm Floyd, I should have played with him in Wyoming.
Yeah.
So it's pretty cool, man, how the career came out. You know, it's pretty like a blessing, man, being around all these guys that you know, I kind of watched on TV.
Yeah, we had Jacoby Jones on the show too last year.
Oh, word, yeah. See, Jacoby, you know about him. He a good, and he straight handle biz and have fun.
Yeah, he had a great career too, man.
Yeah.
But I want to ask you about Colin Kaepernick, because I feel like he's getting disrespected, but he deserves another chance, in my opinion. But for you, what was it like catching balls from him and playing with him throughout your career?
Yeah, it was great. It was great, man. I was I mean, you know, I was in the league before he got to the league. So when he was playing at Nevada, I had a player who went to my high school. He was on that team also, a defensive end though. So I always watched him, and I was like, okay, cool. And man, this dude got game, and it was like he threw like 7 touchdowns one time I was watching. And then, you know, he ended up coming in late against the Packers, and he blew up, you know. But being able to play for him is like, dude throw hard, man. Like, he throw hard. It was like, yo, be prepared, because you know, he done busted a few people eye sockets and stuff and broke fingers and all that. Oh man, come on. So you know, when I got to him, he was already the star though. He was a superstar. So when I got there, I was like, I got to develop timing, because I ain't about to be out there not knowing when the ball coming, he throwing these lasers. So in a sense, I was thinking he would probably be too cool, you know, with the status he had. But it actually was a total opposite. I was like, yo, you got some time whenever on an off day or whatever? And he was like, yeah, man, just here go my line, hit me up, and we'll link up. And it was like our next off day, and we went in on the field, and we was just out there vibing for like not even too long, like 30 minutes, you know what I mean? And just chilling, going through certain routes and walking through certain things and letting them know type of moves I may do, or, you know, certain stands, be expecting this type of, you know what I mean? And it was on. Like, I think our completion percentage was probably the best on that team, but we just didn't have the spread formations enough, I would say. We let loose against the St. Louis Rams in St. Louis on, I think, Monday night or Sunday night. But that was like, after that, we was just like doing basic stuff. But yeah, man, he was good to work with.
Yeah.
Shit. I don't know. You said he's trying to play. He's still trying to play.
I mean, I feel like he deserves another chance. I mean, do you think he'll get another chance?
I feel like how the Players Association is shaping up, especially how the NBA is. If the NBA continue to keep elevating how they doing, the NFL will have to carry on. You know what I mean, and pick up just like that with the players, as far as players being able to, you know, take some sort of advantage. And I think we're doing that. If it don't happen soon, you know, I mean, I think he's good not playing, but if it don't happen within his next 2 or 3, I don't think it's gonna happen.
Yeah, so I want to ask you about Coach Harbaugh. Tell our fans about Coach Jim Harbaugh. What was he like as a coach? And obviously now he coaches Michigan.
Yeah, man, those kids blessed out there, you know, or whoever he be coaching at is a blessing, because he's thorough, he's authentic with his stories. You know, he makes the environment cool, you know, and not in a too chill way. You know what I'm saying? He don't say nothing that he ain't never been through, or, you know, never went through. You know what I'm saying? So you can respect it, and his stories are great, man. His stories great about his family. He's obviously a football family. But yeah, man, and you can tell, oh, okay, this dude, he's an NFL guy. He's a player's coach, you know, and everybody loved him up in San Francisco.
Yeah, but now Yeah, so now transitioning from your career to the 49ers, you go to San Diego, but you're still close to home. But what was that transition like going from 49ers to the Chargers?
Yeah, it was cool because I had a guy also from my high school named Jason Verrett that I spoke to early in my career. Just giving him some inspiration and stuff because he was from the same area I was from, and he ended up making it. So I was like, cool, that'd be cool. I go play a year with him. And then Keenan, I always looked at him at Cal, and I thought we would probably get him in Buffalo, but we didn't draft him. But being able to play with him as a young player was cool. And then I was just thinking, the Patriots was the kings of the East. So I wanted to go to the West Coast and see if I can get on this team with Antonio Gates and them and Floyd and try to make a run at it. But it was unfortunate. So many injuries ended up happening. But the experience outside of the games was all worth it though.
Yeah, so obviously you got to play with one of the great quarterbacks in my opinion, Phillip Rivers, Melvin Gordon, like you mentioned, Keenan Allen, Malcolm Floyd. You can go down. You guys had a great defense, Eric Reed. I love Eric Reed. And what was that like just to play in San Diego and in front of those fans too?
Yeah, man. Now Jaleel Adai was out there.
Yeah.
He was a young guy, hungry. Man, the vibe was good out there. Brandon Flowers was a
Yep.
cornerback, first rounder from Kansas City.
Melvin Ingram.
Yeah, Melvin Ingram. Oh man, I was trying to tell the Buffalo Bills to get Ingram when he was a free agent. He was big, but I mean they good with their defensive ends now. But he's a savage. He's super cool and he makes music and all that. He's a leader. Who else? Floyd, of course. But playing out there, it was a cool mix. You know what I mean? Seeing those guys, seeing how Phillip Rivers, he's really that guy that you see on TV, amped up. He don't curse at all.
Yeah.
But he's super fired up. Another cool thing about that team was I used to watch this high school coach who never punted the ball. You know what I'm saying? And they had a kid named Hunter Henry that went to that school in Pennsylvania and whatnot. And I got to play with him, you know what I mean? So it was cool practicing with him and, just randomly knowing that, oh man, I watched you guys not knowing, you know what I mean, who you were, but y'all coach's philosophy. I like that. Like he was go get her. Ain't no punting, man. Let's get it.
Hey, now the Patriots got a good one in Hunter Henry.
Yeah, and now he getting into it to being seasoned. You know what I'm saying? He was already really good and can catch and focus and all that, but he went through his injury bug. I feel like he go develop into a real good asset for them. In a quarterback jump.
Yeah, so obviously I know you're a receiver, but I want to ask you about Antonio Gates, man. What was it like playing with him, learning from him? And obviously he's a future Hall of Famer. And you played with tons of great players, but I think Antonio Gates, man, he worked hard every day.
Yeah, man, and his skill set is impressive, especially for his size. The way he's shifty and able to come to balance. And juke. And I think it all ties into, basketball. That's and then, he played basketball, of course, but you can just see why he's one of the best at when that ball's in the air or when you one-on-one trying to cover it, he's got that patience. He got the patience that Josh Reed taught me, and he's got the shiftiness and that I kind of taught myself how to develop on my own. And then he got that quarterback in Phillip Rivers that he developed for years. So it was like they know to just get it to him. It was an opportunity. Everything worked out for him. So it was good to witness that connection that him and Phillip had from their early years to those days in Chargers or San Diego.
Yeah, I want to tell our fans about Coach Mike McCoy. Another great. You play with a lot of great coaches. And you guys are playing Mike McCoy. This is another great coach that who doesn't get enough respect, in my opinion.
Yeah, he's like you said, a great coach. You know what I mean? He's in there with the players. He's involved. He's interested. He's family oriented. You know what I'm saying? He understands. You know what I mean? He was a solid coach for us at the time. You know, he gave out opportunities when he needed. He asked questions to his staff. That's what I noticed. He was a cool coach. I can't really think of anything bad to really say about him. You know what I mean? He in the sauna with us, you know, working out. I think he was cool. He was all positive things to say about Coach McCoy. Yeah.
Yeah. So now, what to sum up your career? What would you say your best moment in your NFL career was, or best moment, funniest moment, and did any pranksters jokes throughout your career?
Man, you know, like it was so many moments, dude, on and off the field. I mean, obviously the Why So Serious was the most legendary because it happened with against two guys that I really always watched and studied in T.O. and Ocho. So that was legendary in his own, uplifting the city and putting Buffalo on. That's a proud moment for me, you know, when nobody really cared or focused on the Bills. You know, me to do things like to trailblaze, that is something that I kind of take pride in. Being able to come home and make a touchdown catch in my home team uniform, it was great. And then being able to play with high school and young athletes that I really, I ain't say looked up to, but really supported. It was all cool and all worth it. And then, you know, being able to, you know, have these relationships that I have with them outside of football now and be able to create this exposure academy with them, all of that, man, all of that is tied into it, you know, where the numbers don't really matter. It's all about the people and then building for the future.
Yeah, so I know you. Before we get to the things you're doing now after your career with the camp, with the Exposure Academy, I want to ask you, tell our fans, do you think you can still play in the league, and is there a possible comeback for Stevie Johnson?
Yeah, nah, probably only as a space creator coach. I feel like, of course, I feel like I can play in the league. Right now, I think we all feel like that. Even if we turn 65 or so, I could get open. I could get a first down at least. But nah, I seriously can. I know I can. But nah, seriously, just only for space create, man. Like my time, I have my time. You feel me? You know, I'm interested in helping others create space now. You know, not really learn a new technique, but just help them develop, you know, more on what they already have.
Hey, I'm a Dallas Cowboy fan. We would like to have you in Dallas, man. Come to
Hey,
Dallas.
yeah, look, I got what? I got a kid from Dallas, Jalen Jones. I got a DB from Dallas that'll be at our Exposure Academy. So yeah, I'm representing. I'm making sure he go back prepared to take over and put on for his state in the city.
Yeah. So now looking back at your career, obviously, in my opinion, one of the great careers for a wide receiver to have, and how grateful are you to be in this position? Obviously, worked hard throughout your life and made your goal, which is the NFL, and made your family proud, and worked hard every day. How grateful are you now to be in this position?
Yeah, man, very, very, because you know I just see what's going on in the world now, and I'm woke to it all. Like every 4 years, every 5 years, is going to be something major or catastrophic, so and so that's going to happen. How are with this last one, with this COVID and them shutting down the whole world? It's like, okay, a lot of people wasn't able, you know what I'm saying? I was one, and I was able to kick back and be like, okay, what's going on? You know what I mean? Today, I can't sit back and stay like that. I gotta somehow go get these babies who gonna have to deal with this later on. And while I got this info that I got and this skill to provide, I gotta give it to them. You know what I mean? I gotta get it to all of them. So when I'm gone, they ain't just, I got to depend on somebody else to be doing that. You know, at least I know I did my part with this HBHF and trying to help these kids out to become able ultimately in the end, whether they're on the field as a pro or a citizen.
Yeah. So tell our fans. Speaking of this academy, tell our fans about it. When did this come about, and what's it been like for you just to help these young athletes go to learn the game of football and share some of your stories that you've been through, and making sure they focus on football in school.
Yeah, it's the best. It's the best because like when you live in proof of, like, you on a 298 or 94th episode, right?
Oh, this is you're the 928th episode.
Yeah, my bad, 928.
Yeah.
Now, can you remember when it was, oh, should I put this together or should I not? Or like, how should I do? Now you got 900 of them in. You can essentially tell somebody who don't know anything about a podcast, hey, it's a lane that you can learn. Yeah, it's a skill or trade.
Yeah.
So I just feel the same way in my lane. I had 8 years playing, 10 years in the whole league, and I've been through the ups and downs from each level, So being able to provide this for these kids is fulfilling. It's great. We've been doing it for, I would say this Exposure Academy, we've been doing it for 3 years now. This will be our first year doing it as a reality show. So, we always looking for people to partner with us so that we can continue to make it bigger. My vision is to not have it only in one area because there's so many junior colleges and athletes. I'm only choosing 16 per year, per season. So, this will be the first year doing that, 3 years total. And yeah, but we previously was doing with high school athletes. So, it was cool. We got kids in college. We got kids that, this is the best part, they write back saying like, man, I'm so glad that I was in this Exposure Academy because my tire got on flat or something. I knew how to fix it. I knew what to do. I'm out here in this rural area that I don't have the same friends as you, but you prepared me for this. You know what I mean? You guys put us through this and now I can go through this and be calm and then get myself out of it. And it's like, that's the best part of it. You know what I'm saying? So we just want to touch as many as we can.
Yeah, that's amazing. And obviously now with the COVID situation and do you guys, what's it been like now? Do you guys wear masks when you train these kids or how does it work for you?
Yeah. We're optional with it. You know what I'm saying? It's all with the kids. Obviously we want the safety. We make sure because it's not all bad with the COVID, it's definitely woke people game up to be washing them hands and staying sanitized and all that, and being smart about it. So in closed areas and such, but yeah, we're going through all of the protocols that we need to make sure the kids right with the test each week, what I'm saying, making sure things are safe, we're not spreading anything because it is real, but at the same time, we're not really, I can't say we're forcing them, to be honest. I can't say we're forcing them to wear masks. We just always provide the info, like, the knowledge of it, and we let them make their decision. But as soon as something happens,
yeah,
you gotta, hey, this is what you chose, you feel me? And now you may have to miss this opportunity now, So yeah, we put it in their hands, we give them the options and the knowledge on it.
Yeah, so now I want to ask you, now it's in this generation, it's all about helping out the youth. And for myself, I coach soccer too. I coach soccer and I love helping these kids out become better soccer players. And what's it like now seeing kids just to stay active and not playing video games right now?
Yeah, it's great, man. And you see, like that's why I feel like my career was a blessing, and I'm glad that I'm grateful that I'm in this position, because what woke me up from video games, obviously it's a bad situation, but seeing a guy get killed. I used to play the 007 and you go destroy the game. But then when you wake up in the morning to go to school and then you hear pow pow and then you see guy fall, people running, you're like, dang, like that's the bus stop where we're supposed to be at, and somebody really dead right now, Like video games was obsolete to me at that time. It was like, okay, we gotta, I gotta get serious on something, And at the time it was like track running, like track. I'm running hard and track and jeans at the track meet, so it don't matter. Like in my back of my mind, all I see is pow pow and people running and a guy in the body falling. That's it. So being able to see these kids be more involved and have more events and activities is great to see, and knowing that they don't have to really go through what I've seen in order to be in that position, or having their parents force them to be out there. Kind of the COVID kind of even woke the kids up to wanting to be outside a little. So you pretty good with the bad too.
Yeah, so a couple more things here before I let you go, and I want to ask you about this NFL season and what are your thoughts? I'm sure you've been watching the games, and we're already in week 7, which is crazy. It's going so fast, and so what are your thoughts on this overall season? Which receiver do you like to watch right now?
Keenan Allen is my guy. Keenan is my top guy for sure. And then the Bills got at least 3 guys on there. Yeah, 4 of them really. So Stephon, Gabe Davis, Beasley. I like Beasley, and Emmanuel Sanders has dope routes also. You know what I mean? from his days in Denver up to the Niners, obviously the past couple of years, I think. But yeah, those are my guys. And let's see, who else? I like one that blew up the other day, Jamar Chase. The funny thing about that is I noticed him on a Nike combine, which is where I was like, this is kind of how we need to turn our exposure academy. But it was Jamar Chase and another college receiver named Amon-Ra St. Brown. And to see Chase go from that high school level to the LSU level and into the pros and doing this thing, like I can just envision that with guys in our area too, you know what I'm saying, with our XA. So I like watching how the new generation is coming in and doing their thing, man. It's cool to see. And I like to see how the NFL is adjusting to it also. Maybe a little slow, but they make an adjustment.
I don't know if you saw the catch by Daniel Jones, but do you think Daniel Jones could be a receiver too?
Yeah, no, actually, the thing is, so in San Diego, I was playing with Carlos Ray, and he's a Duke graduate defensive lineman, and he already put me on Jones. He was like, "Yo, this dude Jones." I think they called him Mixtape Jones or Mixtape. What's his name? Matt Jones.
Oh, which one? The
Giants quarterback.
Oh, Daniel Jones. Daniel Jones.
Yeah, I think it was like Mixtape Daniel or something, because he was good in basketball. Like he got that coordination. So it was no surprise to me, you know. So shout out Carlos Ray. He put me on the Daniel Jones early. So yeah, it's no surprise, man. Giants would be cool. They just got to keep building they skill positions around them and their defense up.
Yeah. So like I said before, I'm like a big.
You a Cowboys fan?
Yeah.
You don't want to.
Yeah, I'm a big Cowboy fan. And what are your thoughts on CeeDee Lamb as a receiver?
Yeah, he's one of those new generation, one of those next generation receivers. I like him because he's got that wiggle. You know, there's certain receivers that can come to balance and do that. I see that, you know, and he's got that just like a Judy, just like Chase got, just like you know, like how I had, you know what I'm saying? But he's a burner. He take the top off. Who you got? You guys got someone else that's pretty good.
Oh yeah, we have Amari Cooper, Michael Gallup. Michael Gallup is coming back soon, so.
Yeah, so y'all got guys that can create space. You know what I'm saying? So, but yeah, on CeeDee Lamb, yeah, he's one of those next generation receivers that the kids look up to.
Yeah, if you want to go 49ers, you got Deebo Samuel. This is my favorite receiver in the game right now. Deebo Samuel does it all. Does he remind you of yourself a little bit, or which receiver do you think reminds you of yourself?
I feel like Deebo is being used like a more 2.0 of Anquan.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like he's like a more explosive Anquan, not disrespecting Anquan, but you know, obviously you see these kids now, they boosted. Ayuk, he's got once he get ultimately very comfortable in the league, he's got that come to balance and the strength, the speed. He's like a 2.0 me, I would say. They have another receiver that was stepping into it. But though for those two, I would say Deebo is more like an Anquan in a sense, and Ayuk more with my skill set, stronger, you know, more shifty with it. But once they get comfortable with they quarterback with Trey, is Garoppolo still there?
Yeah, Jimmy Garoppolo. So Trey Lance is injured right now, so Jimmy.
But you know, Trey will be there for the first round pick. He gonna be there ultimately. So yeah, once they get comfortable there, we'll see them really thrive in that offense.
All right. So before we get to the last few things, I got $2 million questions for you, and so all my fans want to know who is the toughest defensive back you ever had to face in your career, and the next part to this. Just be honest, how many ankles have you broken with your route running?
Yeah, hey, I would say all of them. I'm gonna answer that second one first because nobody could really guard me to be. And the hardest ones was my teammates. Everybody who was on the same team that I played with, those was the hardest ones because obviously they got to play with me a lot and day to day, you know, obviously we would talk at lunchtime. Hey, this is what I do in this situation. If you was, you know what I mean? So those were my hardest opponents, which I loved it. When it came to Sundays, they never seen me. They just looking at film, you know what I'm saying? So it was just easy to beat them. so yeah, like that's it. Yeah, I'll give my teammates. If I gave some names, Leotis McKelvin was good. Drayton Florence was good. Stephon Gilmore.
Yeah.
Ron Brooks. Yeah, Gilmore was there as a rookie. We talked a lot. Ron Brooks.
Yeah.
And he's back home in Carolina.
Yeah.
Yeah. I figured Keenan, they got to get Keenan because got to be able to play at home at least once in your career. You know what I'm saying? And I believe Keenan's from Carolina. And now I said Stephon's going to go to Carolina, and this was probably a year or so ago, maybe 2 years. But I was like, Cam need to come back, and then Stephon go play home, and then Keenan go home. And one of them is there right now. Just saying, one is there now. See if the other two follow suit. But because it's more than the game, man. It's more than the game. At the end of the day, you see kids I'm big on that, being in a community, being seen, so that these kids can see it can really happen. Because this world is gonna be tough if you get older. You just now figuring it out, So if I can, with just being a figure in a community, then I'm there, because I know what it did for me when I got to see people like, I don't know if you know Desmond Bishop.
No.
Yeah, linebacker. He won a Super Bowl with the Packers. But he was one of the guys in my area who was going to college. He was going to Cal. He was big name. I didn't get to see him, but I heard him from across the town. But then when I got to actually see him, when he came back from college, I was like, dang, it's really happening. You know what I mean? Somebody from the area, So I know what that did for me. That's why, I'm out there doing this now.
Yeah, you would become a good GM or scout for an NFL team.
Oh yeah, hey, for sure. I feel like I can help out in some kind of way, whether it's scouting, GM, or just coaching. You know what I mean, training it up, man. That's in the future. It'll happen once when time tells.
Yeah.
But yeah, man.
Yeah. So the last two things here. Our team is part of this foundation. It's called the Hugh Jackson Foundation. He's a former NFL coach. He's now the offensive coordinator at Tennessee State with Eddie George, and we're trying to help him prevent human trafficking, making sure the community stays safe and the kids stay safe. So we'll send you the foundation so you can go check it out.
Okay, for sure. Yeah, I didn't know about that. I think I've seen a little bit, but now that you getting it directly to me, I'll definitely take a look and pass that around, spread that around.
Thank you. Yeah. And the last thing here, would you like to say anything to? Wait, what? Oh.
No, that's a great thing, because with that human trafficking, men, women, all that, man, kids, all that.
It's so horrible out there, man. It's crazy.
Yeah, I was looking to get. That's funny you saying that. So I'm gonna look into this foundation, but not to cut you off. But yeah, Houston Lillard, Damian Lillard's brother.
Oh, okay.
We was looking into some projects into like housing for people that was trafficked. You know what I mean? Those victims. So that can be something that can grow from this.
Oh, you're close with the Lillard family?
Well, yeah. So his older brother was my quarterback in junior college the first year. So yeah, we end up developing a solid bond. This was when Dame was young. He was probably 12 or something. Hey, and I'm gonna tell you one story on this. I didn't know we was gonna get to this. Dame was literally 12 years old, the lead point guard of the adult league.
Wow.
And he was bringing the ball up, calling the plays, like still. I was like, whose brother is this? Whose kid is this? And Houston was just like, yeah, man, that's my little brother, Dame. I'm like, man, he nice. Like, and he was only like 12 playing with grown-ups. So, we got to see that whole development going to Weber State. And like, he was damn near leading the NCAA with probably 26, 27 per game. Going to check him out, play against Sac State, and then Sacramento Kings. I didn't mean to get to this either, man, but now we going. Then the Sacramento Kings have a chance to draft him, hometown guy, and then you don't pick him. They went and picked Thomas Robinson, who's props up to him. He did good. He got the look and all that. But this is your guy, man. You know what I mean? This is him. But we missed out on that, and then pick after Portland Trailblazers get him, and here he is, Hall of Famer. You know what I'm saying? So
the one I have much respect for Dame Lillard, because the one thing he's all about loyalty. This Blazers team has been through ups and downs, and he still sticks with it. That's what he doesn't want to build that big three. He wants to build his own team. He doesn't matter if he doesn't win a championship. All he matters he's a fan a player. He's loyal to his team, and he's been in trade rumors pretty much in the last 3 years, and he wants to stay in Portland. I think this is his team.
Right, and that's the aura that we have in that Bay Area type. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like that was the same way I was with Buffalo. Like, I'm ready to be here for, you know what I'm saying? This is it. But you know, when things happen, and you changing coaches and this and that, and you know, it's a little bit different. But I understand what he's going through over there, and hopefully they can build back up and they get that fire squad.
Yeah.
No, it's tough in the West. The West is damn near every team in the West is going to the playoffs. So, you know, it's tough out there. It's tough.
Yeah, and the last thing here, would you like to say anything to all the nurses, doctors, and all the essential workers right now?
Yeah, man. Just it's all appreciated. I would say it's all appreciated because they're the risk that they're taking. You know, is all for us for a greater cause, and you know, thank you. And once again, it's appreciated. You know, my mother-in-law is in there in that area. You know, and also October Breast Cancer Awareness. You know what I'm saying? I want to shout out and props up to everybody that's winning the fight or that's in the fight. We thinking about you. We you know, got you in our prayers. Yep. And again, my mother-in-law is a survivor. You know what I mean? She a fighter. So, you know, shout out to them for this October month and for the rest of their lives. You know what it is.
Yeah, man, at least your grandmother is feeling better, and I'm still wishing her a speedy recovery. And how's she doing now? Better? Much better?
Indeed, definitely getting right for sure.
Yeah, well said. And there it is. That wraps up episode 928 with former Kentucky NFL wide receiver Stevie Johnson. He played for the Bills, 49ers, Chargers. He runs a exposure academy for these young athletes, young football athletes. He helps out young kids now, and go check him out. Go follow him on all social media formats. Stevie, I just want to say thank you for joining the show. It was truly an honor, and we would like to have you back on the show at some point down the line so you can meet the full team. But keep up the great work, and thank you again.
All right, for sure. Thanks, man. Appreciate the time, and we'll be in touch throughout the year throughout Exposure Academy, man.
Yep. Thank you.
Peace.